John, thanks a lot for coming on. So what's your reaction to this story that an ally of Christine Ford's, according to Leland Kaiser apparently, tried to get Kaiser to change her sworn testimony, which, as you just heard, and I think we both agree, is a crime. It's certainly wrong. What do you make of that?
Well, I don't know that I agree it's a crime, and it is something that we've seen on both sides. I mean, we know that Kavanaugh, was also talking to his friend. She was talking to hers. So, I think what it all boils down to,
hold on. Before you I think I followed it pretty closely. Is there an allegation that someone was pushed to change sworn testimony?
There was talk about Kavanaugh talking with his friends who might be approached by the FBI. And the way that you're characterizing her as changing her testimony was not actually the way that story was written in the Wall Street Journal.
She's saying that she was pushed to change her account.
She was saying that she was asked to revisit her account. I'm not going to defend that. That's not for me to defend because I don't actually think that was the right thing to do, but both sides are guilty. What I actually do think the right thing to do would be for everyone to take a breath and take a step back and actually take the time to go in and investigate all this stuff, both on behalf of the accused and the accuser, so there could be some clarity brought to this and the right people can be held accountable. And unfortunately, that was missing in this process because there was a rush to get it done. It would have been nice if we'd been able to take a breath and look at all of this. Yeah, it's only 7 FBI investigations into Kavanaugh.
I do think we would need an 8th FBI investigation to, clear his name from charges that don't make any sense.
Hastert also had clearance, and no one knew he was a child molester for a long, long time. So let's be clear that we're not going to wait. Hold
on. Let me be clear. What we're not going to do is try to impugn Brett Kavanaugh's reputation by comparing him to a child molester because that would be wrong and guilt by association. It's got nothing to do with Denny Hastert, as you know. But let me ask you this. When you see your senator from the Democratic Party, Joe Manchin of West Virginia, announce his vote, which is consistent with what his voters want, according to the public opinion polling, and a bunch of angry left-wing children surround him and scream at him, does that bother you at all? I mean, is that the kind of democratic process that you want for your country?
I mean, people do have the opportunity to approach their elected officials and make their voices heard.
And scream at them?
Manchin,
but let's be
it's not appropriate to scream at them. No, I
defend the First Amendment in a way that the left does not. So I will take a backseat to no one on the First Amendment question. They have a right to do it, I guess. But is that what you want? Do you want people screaming at lawmakers until they change their view? And if that's okay, why is it not okay to slash their tires? Or throw a Molotov cocktail through the front? No, I'm serious. If you're going to bully people, what's the kind of limit to that?
Well, and you've got bullying on both sides. We know that both sides have been doing this. Oh, you
really?
Absolutely do, Tucker.
So show me the mob. Show me the mob of screaming right-wing children that's changed a vote. I
actually think it's a waste of time to go after and scream at Manchin and do all of that. He's voted the way I expected he would vote the entire time, which I think is viewed by him as the politically safe way to go. I have to say, I'm actually really impressed. I'm really impressed with Senators Collins, Murkowski, and Heitkamp, because it was very clear that all three of them put some serious thought into this. I still expected Collins to vote the way that we expect her to vote tomorrow on the confirmation, but it was clear that she actually put some thought into it. I don't agree with everything she said, but it was clear she put some thought into it.
She made a reasonable case, and now she's being dismissed as some right-wing crazy, which is hilarious.
And the same, the same sort of thoughtfulness can be applied to Murkowski and Heitkamp as well. A Republican, a Democrat.
Heitkamp,
from two of the most
Murkowski made it nonsensical. Yeah. All right, well, good luck to them. Good luck to them. John, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Thanks, Tucker.